very much, and welcome to TNT Tuesday Night Titans. We are approaching the festive occasion of Thanksgiving. With that in mind, we'd like to introduce to you now Her Majesty's answer to our turkey, Lord Alfred Hayes.
Turkey? Well, aren't they birds of a
feather? Yes,
yes.
Well, speaking of birds of a feather, or big birds, or whatever, one individual also to join us this week, Captain Louis Albano.
That is a big bird.
And Mr. Albano will be along quite shortly. And Mr. Albano, of course, has made quite a name for himself in the world of professional wrestling. He has managed some, is it 12?
Yes.
13 tag team champions?
I believe he claims 14.
14.
Tag team champions.
Well, there may be no stopping our very first guest, Captain Louis Albano.
Hello, McMahon. How are you? Move over, boy. Move over. You knew it was 14 champions. You didn't have to go through the whole ritual. 12, 13, 14 tag team champions, 2 intercontinental champions, and 1 Worldwide Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion. I had it all, brother. I've done it all. I've been there and back.
Well, then there are no more accomplishments then for Lou Albano.
Well, it's
right?
not a matter of accomplishments. It's a matter of precedent. It's a matter of just being here. It's a matter of being myself, my sweet old lovable self, showing up here on TV land, showing all the fans out there that I'm truly the manager, the greatest manager of all time, and the manager of the greatest talent in wrestling today. You know, I'm here with the Worldwide Wrestling Federation with one intent and one reason. Because in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, you've got the greatest athletes in the world today. Pound for pound, as you know, and I don't have to tell you, because you're a former amateur wrestler yourself, professional wrestlers are without a doubt the greatest living athletes in the world today. And we've got the best, and I stress the best, right here in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation.
Mr. Albano.
Go ahead, ask me anything and I'll tell you no lies.
Mr. Albano, what do you attribute to your phenomenal success?
My phenomenal success comes from the back in the IQ and the brain of my mind, back in the medulla oblongata, which is a little too high for you. Excuse me, brother. Back in the medulla of my brain, I've got an IQ of 901.73. As you know, the medulla helps to function. It has the blood flowing through back into the pulmonary artery from the right ventricle to the left ventricle. So I am a linguist, a bilinguist, a strategist, a genius.
Let's go to videotape.
Shut up, I'm talking.
Let's go to videotape footage involving Captain Louis Albano, and we'll see some typical Albano action.
That's right.
One fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Italy, weighing 245 pounds, Nick DiCarlo. Now I'd like to introduce the manager, Captain Lou Albano. Now introducing from parts unknown, weighing 270 pounds, the Spoiler.
Well, hi again, everybody. This is Jack Reynolds at ringside, along with Angelo Mosca.
Excuse me, Jack Reynolds. I know that everybody out there should know that the Intercontinental Champion, the greatest champion of all time, is out here. I want to know why I'm not wrestling, huh? There's no competition out there. I don't see any competition. Like I said, I'm the greatest champion of all time, guided by the greatest manager. The guiding light, he doesn't want me to wrestle. I don't need to wrestle. But I'll wrestle anybody, understand? I'll wrestle anybody, I don't care. I don't care.
You know what I said to Mr. Valentine? I said, Mr. Valentine, and I always call him Mr. I said, Mr. Valentine, you're camping out, baby. You're only at a little town. Just come in here and take it easy. I said, make an appearance, but I don't want you to wrestle. I don't want you to dirty yourself, get in there and wrestle, because you're a champion. I said, Greg Valentine, you're an Intercontinental Champion, brother. I said, don't get out there and wrestle. Just make a personal appearance. You got it out there, all you geeks, just a personal appearance. That's all we're talking about. Here's your champion now. Brothers and sisters, you got the champion right before you. You got that Mosca, and you got that stooge next to you. What's his name? What's his name? Hey, Jack, I'm talking to you, brother. What you staring at? You and that big, look at that, look like a big gorilla, Angelo Mosca. I know he's tough.
Jack, can we get rid of this man somehow?
Take that microphone.
I don't know what we've done to...
First of all, you're not a stooge or
why
a
don't you
geek.
stand up when we come out here? Show us a little respect.
When I stand up, I want to be recognized.
Valentine's right. He wants a little respect. Let's give it to him.
All right, there they go. The Intercontinental Heavyweight Champion, Greg the Hammer Valentine, and his manager, Lou Albano. Let's get back to the business of professional wrestling. In the ring right now, we've got the Spoiler and the Italian star, Nick DiCarlo. Right now, the Spoiler stomping away on DiCarlo.
What? The Spoiler is quite a clandestine figure.
It's quite an awesome figure.
Yes, he sure is. He's also a well-conditioned athlete. Look at the calves on that man, Jack.
Spoiler pounding away, kicking away, using those big black boots to his advantage. Referee for this bout is John Bonello.
Is Lou Albano managing the Spoiler, or is he just at ringside? I'm not sure. Or is he scouting the Spoiler?
Well, it's a combination of bringing the Intercontinental Heavyweight Wrestling Champion, Greg the Hammer Valentine, out to our World Wrestling Federation microphones. And also, he's got his eyes on the Spoiler.
Well, the Spoiler's got a great reputation, and everything is proceeding, so I think he doesn't have to observe too much to know the Spoiler.
Right now, the Spoiler pounding away on DiCarlo. Both men pounding away at each other. DiCarlo trying to fight back. Fight fire with fire.
That's right.
Oh! Catching the tremendous boots into the midsection.
Look at the
DiCarlo going
agility.
down.
Look at the agility of the Spoiler. Oh.
Boy, he caught DiCarlo flush. Tremendous elbow smash to the throat area.
Nick DiCarlo still got something left.
There's the combination of Albano
Watch him in motion.
and Valentine again.
Watch this, Moscow. Pay attention.
Look at this. Look at this. Look at this claw. Looks like the lights are all out for here.
Referee Bonello with a 3 count.
There was so much confusion
There's just
during
so
this match.
much going on.
Lou Albano has a habit of confusing people anyway. He even confuses his wife.
Let's get the official decision right now.
The winner of the match, the Spoiler.
Spoiler right now seems to be, looks
He's
like...
still got the claw on.
Yeah. Albano talking with the Spoiler. Albano talking with the Spoiler right now. Referee John Bonello trying to intercede. And it looks like DiCarlo is lights out.
You got to have a powerful hand to be able to put that claw on a man's forehead.
All right, let's pick up the replay once again and watch the Spoiler victorious in his match against the Italian star Nick DiCarlo. There's the big knee setting up. Tremendous. Looks like a claw hold.
I'm sure glad we had a replay to see exactly what happened.
That's right, going with the big claw. Referee Bonello with a 3 count.
Very pleased with yourself, Mr. Albano, are you not?
Yes, I'm very pleased. Let me correct something right now. First of all, Lord Hayes, let me apologize. I want to treat you like a gentleman because you're doing a great job out here with Vince McMahon on his talk show. I believe it's got a better rating than Johnny Carson's. To me, it's the best talk show in the country. But let's talk about wrestling. Let's talk about the Spoiler and my main man, Greg Valentine, new Intercontinental Champion. First of all, the Spoiler stands some 6'4" and weighs 273 pounds. 7 years ago, I took the Spoiler and I had a special ball made, Vince. And every day a ball, yes, made out of balsam, made out of rubber, latex rubber from the Indians, and I had him squeeze it. This is from South India. Every day he would squeeze it, applying pressure, applying pressure, applying pressure. And as he got better, we'd give him another ball, another layer of rubber onto the ball. And he got so that he could apply 709.37 pounds per cubic inch. Do you know what that means? I've had the man take a balsam pliers, put a piece of wood between them, and by applying pressure, snap the pliers. That is tampered steel. So that shows you the pressure he can put on when he applies the claw hole. When he grabs a man's head, you know right in here, you know how the head is, you know the softness on the top of the skull, on the sides, I should call it the sides.
Some are a little
when
softer than others.
What's that?
Some skulls are a little softer.
Yeah, softer than others. Now, we're talking about skulls like schools out. But when you apply that pressure, and when you keep it at a steady base, it knocks a man renders him helpless. You got what I'm talking about?
How long
you put
do you
the right
think-
pressure, you put a man helpless, he's out, he's dazed. Go ahead, ask the question.
Thank you.
Yeah, go ahead.
How long do you think Greg
Sure.
Valentine will remain Intercontinental?
Greg Valentine can be champion as long as I choose or he chooses. In fact, we may turn around and we may retire the belt after Greg Valentine gets through. But I'm going to make one promise, and I'm going to say one thing to you, Lord Hayes, and to you, Vince McMahon. I'm here before all TV land. I want you to know this. We'll take on all comers. You've got to come up the stepladder. We'll take the top contender in the Worldwide Wrestling Federation, which has the best, and we will defend. We will not be evasive. We'll be ready. We'll be prepared. All comers, all time.
Thank you, Mr.
Anytime, right now.
We'll be
your
back as
time,
we continue
my
with
time.
more
I'm ready.
TNT.
Yeah, I'm ready.
All right, we are. Oh, please. We're back with Lou Albano, who was asked to leave, and I would suggest to Mr. Albano, since you're here, why don't you hang around a little bit, because you can take a look at the shape Mr. Albano is in and compare that to the shape of the extraordinary athlete we're about ready to introduce. Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Barry Windham. Hello, Barry. How are you? Nice to have you on the show. Lord Alfred Hayes.
How are you doing, Lord?
I don't know if you know Lou Albano or not.
Sit down, son.
Albano?
Well, you are really making a reputation for yourself
Big
here in
deal.
the World Wrestling Federation.
Yeah,
I
big
think
deal. Reputation.
Perhaps faster than, well, faster, a lot faster than many that have preceded you.
Grease
And the
lightning.
fans seem to really be
Fast.
getting behind you,
Soft, too.
and I would assume that would mean something to you.
Well, you know, I attribute that to, you know, you say that I have worked harder than most other guys on this circuit, or I try harder.
Aren't you great?
Please, Mr. Albano, would you?
Aren't you a wonderful athlete? Grease lightning. Quick.
What I was trying to say is that
For beauty.
I believe in all the sports that I trained in all my life to give more than 100%.
I do training
And,
too, look.
I've tried to do that. And
I've trained
all
myself.
that I do, and I guess that's just all that I can attribute it to.
Well, it seems to be you have a burning desire way down deep. I mean, we've seen you in situations where you were not doing all that well, and it just seems that you just summon up some sort of special force.
Well, I just, you know, I believe that is the training and the years of wrestling that I have behind me. I've been wrestling since I was 6 years old, and just at a time when you're down and out, the only thing that you can do is fight back.
Oh, gosh.
Would
That
you
burning
please?
desire
Would
is
you
called,
please?
agita or heartburn.
All right, let's take you now, ladies and gentlemen. We'll get away from Lou Albano, and we'll show you this fine young athlete.
Excuse me,
in
young
action.
fella.
Barry Windham, let's
You've
go to
come
the
a long way.
videotape. Ridiculous.
Come a long way and you
Is scheduled for one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first to my left, from Sweetwater, Texas, weighing 240 pounds, Barry Windham. His opponent, from Marion, Ohio, at 245 pounds, Charlie Fulton.
Charlie Fulton to square off against Barry Windham, and this should be an outstanding matchup. And there he is back again this week.
He's a big, big man, whoever he is.
Locking up now, and Barry Windham shoved to the rope, and Charlie Fulton right back off. Clean break by Mr. Fulton. Nice maneuver, and Barry Windham makes a quick little counter there, and quickly to the rope is Charlie Fulton. Not exactly the most sportsmanlike thing to do, jump to the rope, but nonetheless legal.
Legal is correct. He's a cagey guy. This Fulton's a very cagey wrestler. He's been around. He's been against the best, and he's always a good test for any young wrestler.
Fulton, side headlock, and a nice counter again by Barry Windham. Windham is really showing us something these last couple of weeks. Good-looking young athlete. And to the rope, Charlie Fulton. Windham circling about now and locking up again with Charlie. And Fulton begins to wind up young Barry. No, nice reversal by Barry Windham. And again. Windham, you'll read the book on this young man and you'll find out that he has a very explosive type of temperament.
Well, he's a Texan. but I'll tell you, he does. He's got a lot of fire. Ooh, beautiful tackle. Arm drag. You can see the way, you know, a lot of people 6'6" or thereabouts, they are, I don't want to use the word clumsy, but they don't have that finesse of a shorter person. This guy here, Wyndham, he moves so quickly, cat-like. He is so well coordinated. It's a terrific balance. He's got all the making of really a truly great wrestler, and he is.
Oh my, forearm smashed to the head by Charlie Fulton, caught him off the rope, a second one. Wyndham, oh my, what a retaliation. And again, and Charlie Fulton bites the dust. Oh my, forearm uppercut, and again. Wyndham trying to set up Charlie Fulton now. Shoves him to the ropes. Off comes Wyndham. Oh! And off the rope. Oh! Knee into the chest area. Cover. He hooks the leg. Does Barry and can't quite get it. Close. Very close. Last week, Wyndham, I think, verbally gave Roddy Piper a little going over. This young man can handle himself not only in the ring, but verbally, I think he can handle himself very nicely.
I think he embarrassed Piper quite a bit. Piper got so angry he walked away.
For the benefit of those who missed it, last week Piper was taunting Barry Wyndham. Wyndham retaliated by saying that, in fact, he would invite Piper down to our Texas barbecue. But if he did, he'd be the only gentleman riding side saddle, something to that effect.
That's exactly what he said. And Piper didn't like it.
Off the rope now, Charlie Fulton. Ooh, my, Wyndham. Really giving him what for. Wyndham now with Charlie Fulton. Yanks him to the rope one more time, sets him up, drop kicks, nicely done. And look out! Yes! Cover by Wyndham. And a 3 count. Barry Wyndham, victorious.
Here is your winner, Barry Wyndham.
Barry Wyndham, long life individual, and he is making quite a reputation for himself here in the World Wrestling Federation, and I might add, Bruno, a very short period of time. Very few individuals have made such a reputation as quickly as Wyndham has done thus far.
Well, it's very impressive, and the people love him because they see an immense amount of talent there. He displays it well in the ring, and people sense it, and they appreciate it, and they like him.
Very impressive, Barry.
Well, thank you very much, sir. And like I said, I just try as hard as I can.
Well, you're going to be coming
big deal.
up against some of the greats in professional wrestling in the upcoming months, no doubt of that. I know you take no back seat whatsoever when it comes to looking forward to meeting the great competitors in the World Wrestling Federation.
Man.
That's right. You know, the reason that I signed with the WWF is because I believe that the very best in the sport is here.
Talk like a sissy.
Excuse me, please. Mr. Albano.
Yeah, what is it, McMahon?
Just so you can have your turn and be quiet, would you care to give any advice to Barry Wyndham?
Yes, I'd like to give Barry Wyndham. I know he's a 6'6" or 6'5", weighs some 252 pounds. The man is a very capable wrestler. I've watched him. He's young, perhaps lacking in a little bit of experience, but he's come a long way, and he's right there, right at the doorstone of it all. So I'd like to give you a little advice there, Mr. Wyndham. I'd like to see you on a very low carbohydrate diet, as I've often stressed to all my fine athletes. I want you to get out and watch matches in entirety, film, get in the back there when you're not doing it, instead of out there going around or eating hot dogs or going to movies. When you see a wrestling match, even if you're not involved in it, get back there and watch. You know what I'm talking about, Punk? Don't look dazed. Understand me and listen to the captain. Try to watch everything. You'll learn from that. Try to get on that low carbs, under 20 grams a day. Try to get on that high protein, unborn virgin goat's milk, calf's liver, chicken raw hearts, chicken hearts. Try to keep your body in good condition, keep the weights down. You're on the right program. I notice you got wrestling leverage, wrestling balance.
You know,
and I think you got a good career ahead of you if you listen.
Why I should take any advice from a slob like you?
Why, you young dehydrated punk, you got the brain of a dehydrated
I believe
BB.
to be any good here is...
I don't have to take your insults and put your brain to parakeet, sing parakeet, fly backwards. I'm trying to help you. I said you were a good wrestler. I don't have to take that from you or anybody else. Or you, Geek, or McMahon. Look at it.
Back with more TNT, Lord Alfred Hayes, along with Captain Louis Albano, Barry Windham, and ladies and gentlemen, right now we would like to introduce to you one of the greatest athletes to ever hail from the University of Syracuse, and Lord only knows they've given us some great ones. My pleasure to introduce to you Mike Rotundo. Hello, Mike. Good to have you here.
Why don't you take your hat off? You're on TV. Rotundo, take your hat off. Come on.
You would?
You're not in the barn, you dummy.
Mr. Albano, please.
Comes out here with the guy got his hat on. Take your hat off. You're not in the barn. And watch your foot.
If you could ignore a little bit of that before we have to bring on the security to rid ourselves of that. Some of your accomplishments.
Number 2, he's putting it all over my trying to get on my pants.
Some of your accomplishments in Syracuse: 4 years wrestling on the varsity, unbelievable. Captain of the 1981 Eastern Championship team. In 1981, also voted most dedicated by your teammates, and that just may be one of the keys to your success in professional wrestling. 2 years started defensive tackle. You were a very, very busy man up in the University of Syracuse.
Yeah, the way it worked out, I went to Syracuse on a football scholarship, and I was recruited for wrestling there also. And I found myself searching for that wrestling after I stayed away from it a little bit because I really loved that individual competition. So I got back into it, and I ended up doing 2 sports, and they went right into from one season to the other. I finished football, I'd go into wrestling, then spring ball would come along, and then I'd be out for the summer, which I trained in the summer also, so I was really quite busy.
Prior to your collegiate days in high school, you had a number of seasons when you played baseball. Of course, you can't do all 3. If anyone could, I guess maybe you would have in Syracuse, but you batted over 400 in baseball.
Hey, wonderful.
Yeah, as a youngster, I really got started in sports, and it was my life.
O.J. Simpson,
I lived for it, trained for it.
Why don't you
Jim London?
I'm sorry for the interruptions. I really am. Unfortunately, Barry Windham experienced the same thing. We will simply ignore that. And in doing so, ladies and gentlemen, we will take you now to videotape. We will see in tag team action Barry Windham and Mike Rotundo. Let's go to the tape.
Mr. Wonderful.
Ladies and gentlemen, this will be a tag team match. 1 fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Lebanon, weighing 221 pounds, Mohammed Saad. His partner, from Toronto, weighing 230 pounds, Bobby Bass. Their opponents, first, from Syracuse, New York, weighing 245 pounds, Mike Rotundo. His partner, from Sweetwater, Texas, weighing 230 pounds, Barry Windham.
This should be exciting, Jack. This is Jack Reynolds at ringside along with Angelo Mosca. We've got a tag team affair going here. A combination of Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham going against Mohammed Saad and Bobby Bass.
These are probably 2 of the most exciting wrestlers to appear on the scene today in North America, Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham.
Your referee is John Bonello. Great arm drag in there by Barry Windham.
They're 2 coordinated athletes. They both played football, both wrestled in college. Mike Rotundo, 3-time heavyweight champion, Syracuse University. Barry Windham, University of West Texas. So they know what coordination and timing is, and you're going to see it right here in the tag team situation.
Nice takedown by Mohammed Saad.
Look at that switch out.
Saad, by the way, also a young man who wrestled in college, coming into the United States after leaving Lebanon. There's a tag, and Mike Rotundo in there right now.
Look at that fireman carry.
Kids, both Wyndham and Rotundo well put together, Angelo.
Are they ever? You don't want to go in that corner.
Little double teaming going on right now. Bobby Bass, Mohamed Saad. This kid, Mike Rotundo, boy, I'll tell you, he came to mix it up.
He didn't come here just to put the trunks on to watch.
He came to mix it up tonight. Bobby Bass will have no part of Mike Rotundo right now. Nice armbar, tag in there. Here comes Barry Windham. Look at this.
Oh. Well, that's 6'5", plus another 7 or 8 feet. Oh, look at that
beautiful backdrop in there.
Did you notice the tagging back and forth here, Jack?
Look at this.
Look, double drop it.
2 for the price of 1. Mohamed Saad in there right now. At least Bass knew to tag his partner to get the heck out of there.
He didn't want any more.
He's taking a pasting in there.
Look at that big knee lift by Mike Rotundo. Look at the legs on Mike. See the legs on that Barry Windham also. Well-conditioned, coordinated athletes.
There's the young man from Sweetwater, Texas in there right now. Oh, beautiful drop kick. Nice maneuver in there by the big man, Barry Windham.
Oh, here comes that bulldog.
Oh! Little bulldogging going on. Johnny Vanilla with a 3 count. Boy, you talk about excitement. You talk about fast action.
Jack, I've seen him before, and I told you they're the up-and-coming, if not established, probably tag team members in the world today.
Let's get the official decision.
The winners of the match, the team of Mike Rotundo and Barry Windham.
Spectacular, gentlemen, I must say. And it seems that the styles of the two of you really complement each other. What do you think about that, Mike?
I think so, because Barry and I, as you find in so many tag teams, we found as we wrestled many places that we're not a selfish tag team, and that makes us blend very well together, you know, and I think that's very important. Because when he's in trouble, he knows I'm going to be there, and I know it's the same as for me.
You really gel together and function as a unit.
Excuse me, Mr. Albano.
Yeah?
As you should know, I'm of Italian descent.
So what? I used to be Italian. I changed my name. I took the O off the end.
And did you ever know an Italian that didn't have a bad temper?
I don't know nothing about Italians. I'm over here. I don't want to know
Mr.
about
Albano,
Italians.
if you would just please be quiet, all right? We very much would appreciate that. Well, you gentlemen have held...
You Italian? I'm Italian. Who
Mr.
cares?
Albano, we're going to have to call security, and that's all there is to it.
I'm worried
Please.
about Italian. What
We've
about
had
Mickey Mouse?
security in here
What
before.
about Mickey Mouse? What about Italian?
Well,
He may
I'm sure.
need security.
Well, that's true. Now, you gentlemen have held a number of regional tag team championships in the past. I mean, this teaming up is certainly not a new thing to you.
Yes, that's true. Barry and I have held Caribbean tag team titles. We've wrestled throughout that area in the country and a lot of different regional tag team titles. And I don't know, I guess we've had how many matches together, Barry?
I'd say within the last 2 years, more than I can count. And, you know, just another one I'd like to add was the United States Tag Team Championship that we held for quite some time. And just now that we're in the WWF, we're looking to get whatever we can.
How about the Rhode Island?
Let's
You want
talk
the Rhode
about
Island
Adrian
State
Adonis
Championship? Yeah.
Mr. Albano,
I ought to know.
last time,
Can you just
please.
listen? I know about tag team combinations. I had 14 tag team champions. They want to tell me, these young punks want to come out here and tell me about Caribbean. 3 islands in the Caribbean, Aruba, Curacao, and Mickey Mouse. They want to tell me about I'm talking about world championships. Now, you young fellas have got the talent. And I believe you got it up here, if you'd listen to a little advice.
I believe that some of his teams were in the tournaments that we were in the Caribbean.
Yeah,
we
they were.
defeated them.
Yeah,
You did?
Yes.
No kidding. Fabulous. Well, now, let's talk about Adrian Adonis and Dick
hallucinating.
Murdoch, if we may, the current World Wrestling Federation Tag Team
Wyndham's
Champions.
authorities. Good
Mr.
wrestler.
Albano is not their manager of record. He has on occasion advised them and things of that nature, but
advisor.
it would appear as though that they've somewhat shunned his advice. And they're doing it on their own, much like you gentlemen do. You really, you apparently do not wish to have nor need a manager.
Well, we talked this over many times, and at this point in our career, I don't think we do need a manager, because I think with the hard work and dedication, we're headed in the right direction. And if there's a time that comes around in our career that we would need a manager, it certainly wouldn't be him.
Oh, you're saying that you're a financial wizard? And you can handle it all on yourself.
Gentlemen,
You've got
thank you very much
continuity.
for joining us.
C-O-S-U-T-Y.
Mike
You and
Rotundo,
this punk Wyndham.
Barry
Got it
Windham,
all together. You
thank
don't
you
need
very
to
much for joining. Wish you all the best of luck in your individual
wish
effort
him
as
luck.
well
That
as
was
the
the
tag
lucky
team
man.
without Captain
I know about tag teams.
We'll be back with more TNT. Back with more TNT, and in a moment, ladies and gentlemen, we'll take you to the Brendan Byrne Arena and the beautiful Meadowlands Complex just outside New York City in New Jersey. A match involving Rocky Johnson and Nikolai Volkov. And Nikolai Volkov regarded Lord Alfred Hayes as one of the most powerful individuals in the Federation today.
He is an awesome competitor, and even if you don't appreciate what he does in the ring, you have to admit he has been tremendously successful. He's made himself a logical contender.
Also, I might add, certainly we can speak highly of the talents of his opponent on this occasion, Rocky Johnson.
Oh, he's proved himself beyond a shadow of doubt to be one of the finest wrestlers ever to exist in the World Wrestling Federation.
We will join this match in progress. We will be spared, by the way, with Nikolai's rendition of the Russian national anthem that he normally sings prior to a match. We will join this match in progress. So let's go now to the videotape to the Brendan Byrne Arena in Meadowlands, New Jersey.
I'm sure that all the fans out there are aware of the fact that Rocky Johnson started right here, started his professional wrestling career right here in the Toronto area.
Always a favorite, Rocky Johnson. He's got quite a test tonight, though, going up against the likes of Nikolai Volkov, the big man from the USSR. Volkov, one of the leading contenders for the World Wrestling Federation Heavyweight Championship. He would like nothing better than to bring that belt back to Russia, the belt currently worn by Hulk Hogan.
Yes, and like you said, he's one of the leading contenders, and he's up against another one of the leading contenders, Rocky Johnson. Oh, and Rocky got him right on the side of the head with a good hard right there, Jack, but that didn't stagger the big man from Russia too much. You notice he reached into his trunks there. Volkov looked like he has a foreign object in his trunks.
Referee Wayne Cashman warning Rocky Johnson about the closed fist. Not only being a fine professional wrestler, Johnson also at one time, well, he had a decision to make, whether to pursue a career as a professional boxer or go into professional wrestling. And he chose professional wrestling.
Well, I certainly think he made the right move.
Volkov, the aggressor right now, applying the pressure on Rocky Johnson.
Wayne Cashman right on top of the situation there, Jack.
You know, I was talking to former five-time champion Chief Jay Strongbow. And Strongbow told me that he had mentioned to me that Nikolai Volkov is a man to be reckoned with.
Oh, he certainly is. And he belongs in the stable of Freddie Blassie. Blassie also has the Iron Sheik under contract, who's a former World Heavyweight Champion. He also has the giant Kamala.
Beautiful backdrop in there by Volkov.
Well, there's a lot at stake in this match, Jack. Whoever wins this will go. Oh, and Johnson moved just in the nick of time. If the big Russian had caught him with that knee, Jack, it could have been all over right there.
Volkov grabbing the knee. Felt the effects of that one.
Oh, and both men going to the mat. Jack, like I said, there's a lot riding on this match. Both of these men leading contenders for the World Heavyweight Championship. Whoever wins this match will go one step higher towards getting a shot at the World Heavyweight Champion Hulk Hogan.
A big win for both men.
And Rocky Johnson.
Look at that. Nothing doing.
No.
Two.
Still a little too groggy.
Rocky able to break the press right there from Volkov.
Volkov moves in. Sends Johnson for a ride into the ropes again. Oh, and a beautiful move by Rocky Johnson. Look at that one. Jack rolls him up in a small package, but only enough for about a 1 count.
You know, Volkov in at 313 pounds, and I don't think I'm saying anything that no one knows, if you follow professional wrestling, he truly is one of the strong men in the world of professional wrestling, is Nikolai Volkov.
Yes, as far as strength is concerned, I guess you'd have to put him in the same category as Ken Patera. Another thing I was going to say about Nikolai Volkov, 313 pounds. 313 pounds, and I haven't seen a man of that weight move any quicker than Nikolai Volkov. We may not agree with his style of wrestling, Jack, but he's a superbly conditioned athlete.
Both men are very well, they're both dedicated. Both work very hard, not only in the ring, but out of the ring. I know that Volkov works out every day, because I did an interview most recently with Volkov, and I had asked him, I said, how often do you work out? And he said every day. And I know that Rocky Johnson works out every day.
Yes.
So you've got two men that are not only dedicated as far as keeping their bodies in condition, but they're very proud, both men.
Oh, absolutely. Wrestling is their life. And let's face it, Jack, if you're going to stay in the World Wrestling Federation, you have to keep in condition. You have to be in top-notch condition at all times. And especially if you have any idea, or I should say, ambitions of getting a shot at the World Heavyweight Championship, you have to be in top-notch condition.
Right now, test of strength.
I was going to say, a little test of strength here, and Rocky Johnson, even though he's outweighed by over 60 pounds, more than holding his own against the big Russian in the strength department.
Look at Volkov. Look at the expression on Volkov, huh? Oh, look at Nikolai Volkov. Boy, I'll tell you, you talk about a tough customer. They don't come any tougher than Nikolai Volkov.
Wouldn't want to meet him in a dark alley, would you?
No, sir.
And Rocky Johnson works his way back to his feet. And Jack, he looks like he's going to force the big Russian down to his knees. You believe that one?
Fans love it. Oh, Volkov with a knee to the midsection. There's the big red boot to the side of the jaw.
Oh, and he threatens the referee, Wayne Cashman. Wayne Cashman says, you drop one on me, man, and you go to the dressing room. And no doubt he'd be suspended if he ever done something like that, along with a nice hefty fine. Oh, and he sends Johnson into the turnbuckle. Oh, and Rocky Johnson moves out in the nick of time. Now, spread eagles a big Russian, says, should I lower the boom on him? Wayne Cashman warning Rocky Johnson, but dropping that foot in there. However, Rocky drops it right to the midsection, and Volkov makes an exit under the bottom rope. Going to try and get things back together, Jack.
Right now, Volkov trying to get a breather, trying to get himself back into the center of the ring. He is seems to be reeling. He seems to be back. He's talking to Cashman right now. He's hollering, no, no. I'll tell you, it takes a lot of punishment to hurt the likes of a Nikolai Volkov.
Oh, did you see that one? It certainly does. Rocky caught him with a quick left jab right to the side of the head. That brought the big Russian around. Rocky throws one, misses with that one. Now drops one to the top of the head. Look at the footwork on Johnson.
Yes.
Hey, look at that Rocky shuffle. The big Russian. He swung with a haymaker, but Rocky ducked out of that one.
I'll tell you, I wouldn't want to get this Russian mad. Look at that. From behind. A tremendous shot to the back of the neck.
He got everything into that one, Jack.
Oh, he certainly did it. Johnson going down. Volkov coming off the ring ropes right now.
Up on those second ropes, waiting for Johnson to get up. And off he comes. Double shot to the back of the neck of Rocky Johnson, and down goes Rocky once again. Volkov's right on top, and away two. Oh, to 2.5, Jack.
I thought it was there. I thought it was all over, but Rocky reaching back for something extra.
Volkov sends him in the ropes. Oh, and went for another. Oh, and Johnson catches him right on the button with a beautiful drop kick, and another one by Rocky Johnson. Nobody can throw drop kicks like Rocky Johnson. Jack.
Right now, Johnson, there's the strong man.
Oh, and Volkov lifted him up.
Hangman.
Dropped him right across that top rope. Goes for the pin. And there we have it, right like that. he was able to hook him and hold him for a 3 count.
You know, Rocky Johnson made a careless move right there, Billy Red. And that's why
The winner of the
Volkov...
match at 8 minutes, 6 seconds, Nikolai Volkov.
That's the reason why Volkov was able to capitalize. Let's pick up the replay once again and watch Nikolai Volkov in action right here. Look at Johnson. Johnson...
Look at there, he catches him with a 1 drop kick.
Right. This is where Volkov, though... Watch Volkov now.
Shoulder block by Rocky. Johnson comes off the ropes once again. Runs right into a scoop slam. But instead of slamming him, the big Russian picks him up, drops him right across that top rope.
That's
right there.
The hangman.
That was the one that took the wind out of the sails of Rocky Johnson. The big Russian hooks that one leg, rolls him up onto his shoulders. The referee's right there, and Volkov is the winner.
So the winner of the fall and the match, the big man from the USSR, Nikolai Volkov.
Very impressive athlete, Nikolai Volkov, and certainly equally impressive, or almost as equally impressive there, Rocky Johnson, and I'm sure that Rock would like to have another go at it.
Oh, he was more than a shade just unlucky. I thought that Rocky Johnson gave one of his better performances, but still not quite enough for Volkov. Volkov is on an absolute rampage.
I wonder if any one individual can measure up to the skills of Volkov. 317 pounds, he is an awesome force. I'm sure we'll be seeing a lot more of Nikolai Volkov in the weeks to come. We'll be back with a very special guest. All right, we are back with more TNT, and now, Lord Alfred Hayes, we understand that you have a very special guest to join us, and we have had certainly many special guests in the past.
Well, some time ago it was suggested that I look for the oldest possible wrestling fan. I went all the way to Cotton Chute, Texas, of all places, and I think I have found the oldest wrestling fan. His name is Lloyd Lynch. I would like to introduce him, if I may.
All right, fine. Let's have a round of applause for Mr. Lloyd Lynch.
He's very colourful person.
Yes, indeed. Mr. Lynch, welcome to TNT.
Mr. Lynch. Hey. Excuse me, just here, sir. Please, up the stairs.
Oh, hello.
How do you do, Mr. Lynch? Nice to have you with us.
Oh, help me, Lord.
Alfred, would you help Mr. Lynch up?
Help me, Lord.
Me, yes. Mr. Lynch, give me both your hands.
Thank you, sir.
One at a time. There you go. There you go. There you go. Another one. There you are.
Careful.
Now then, Lloyd, this is Vince McMahon.
How do you do, Mr. Lynch?
How do you do, Mr. McMahon? Nice to see you.
Thank you very much. Have a seat if you would, please.
Well, thank you very much.
Right.
Okay, see if we got you around here. Turn around. Excuse me.
Alfred,
He's a little eyesight.
Yes,
Oh.
please.
Oh, thank you.
Okay,
Thank
there
you.
go.
Thank you, Mr. McMahon.
You bet. You bet.
Oh,
Mr. Lynch, all the way from, where did Alfred say? Some spot in Texas.
had me, I think it, cut and shoot.
Cut and Shoot, Texas.
Cut and
My
Shoot,
goodness.
Texas.
I didn't know they had wrestling in Cut and Shoot, Texas. I guess it really is universal, isn't it?
Oh, we got it all down there in cut and shoot.
Well, maybe you do. I don't
Boy,
know.
I'll tell you, there's one heck of a good.
So, Lynch, if you could,
memory.
if you could remember, perhaps you could take us back down memory lane. If you could take us back to the, well, who was your favorite wrestler in the past?
My favorite wrestler? Well, certainly one of my favorite wrestlers would be, you remember him,
Yes.
Swedish Angel. Oh, yes, a Swedish Angel. He had a head like a watermelon, and he had a big cucumber nose, and he weighed about 300 pounds, and everybody loved him. Real nice fella he was. He talked like the Swedish chef, you know what I mean. Well, he had a bear hug. He'd put him in that bear hug, and he'd squeeze the chitlins right out of them. He was awful. Was awful. He's a good wrestler, though. He's a real good wrestler.
When did you have an occasion to see the Swedish Angel in action?
Well, I remember one time in particular. I remember I was at Madison Square Garden. He's doing an exhibition match with a boy by the name of George. And he didn't have no other name. He was a beginner back in those days. He's a big old boy, though. And he got old George in that bear hug, and he squeezed, and he squeezed, and he squeezed, and George was bald-headed at the time, and he just squeezed a whole head of hair right out of him. And you know who he became? Yeah, you know who he became, don't you?
I think you're alluding to Gorgeous George.
Why, of course. That's how Gorgeous George got started.
Is that right?
Yes, sir. I met a nice man there at Madison Square Garden. I did. I think I met your granddaddy there.
Could very well have, as a matter of
sure
fact.
did.
Yes.
He was one heck of a nice fella, I'll
Thank
tell
you.
you.
I
He was a lot
appreciate
better
that.
looking than you are, I'll tell you that.
Yes, I'm
told you
sure.
he had a surprising memory.
That's right.
Yes,
And
he
didn't
does.
your daddy just win a big award up there?
Just a matter of fact, yes.
In the Hall of Fame, ain't
Yes,
he?
that's true.
Well,
That's
boy,
true.
I'll tell you, you got to strive for something over there, young boy, I'll tell you. With
That's
a
for
family
sure.
like you got, you better do a good job.
Let me ask you.
Yes, sir.
Your favorite male wrestler you've just pronounced, but what about the lady wrestling now? Lady wrestling. When was the first time you can recall seeing a ladies match? I imagine that would take you back, wouldn't it?
Oh, yeah, that was back in 1834. I can remember that real well. That was the year. Yeah, that was the year Helen 12 Trees was wrestling. No.
Helen 12.
No, I got the wrong person. Now take it easy, Sonny.
I think
Don't
you have
push
the wrong year.
Don't push an old
1834.
person. Hilly. That was Lily Langtree. Millie Langtree.
Millie
Langtree in Pecos, Texas. Now, what she was. She was something else, I'll tell you. She started out...
Is she any relation, pardon me, to Lily Langtree?
Well, of course. Of course, she took her name. She wasn't unrelated to her or nothing because Lily Langtree, she was sort of girlfriend of Judge Roy Bean. Not Boy George Bean, but Judge Roy Bean. That's who she was hooked up with, and he'd hang anybody that went after his girlfriend. So consequently, this Millie, she come down out of Boston. She had a specialty called the Boston Crab. And she used that all the way down to Pecos, Texas. And the biggest thing I ever saw her wrestle was a wolf.
I beg your pardon?
She wrestled a wolf, and she beat him, too.
How big was the wolf?
Oh, he was about 412 pounds.
My God, where was this?
It was in a pickup truck in San Antonio in a drive-in movie. I tell you, she fought for her life, but she won that one, buddy. I'll tell you that. Yes, sir. She won.
Drive-in movie.
At a drive-in movie. You just go right ahead and talk.
What?
It is
I
a
told you
picture
I
of
like
Wendy.
Wendy.
Wendy Rick.
Ooh.
That is a nice-looking lady,
You
yes.
couldn't get me an introduction to her, could you?
Well, if you could tell her stories about Millie Langtree, I'm sure we could arrange some sort of introduction. What sort of hold did Miss Langtree use?
Oh, Miss Langtree used a double-toe half Nelson. There were 3 Nelson boys. There was Big Nelson, Little Nelson, and Half Nelson. They all got together and they worked out this double. Did you like to see that?
Yes, I would.
You'll have to take pity on me. No, don't hurt me. For God's sakes, don't hurt me. I've seen you on the TV. You sit down now. It just requires getting your toe up like this in a double-toed half. In a double-toed half. Wait. Oh, God, I think I hurt myself.
Oh, I think he's...
You hurt your back?
No, not my back. Would you straighten me out, Lord, please?
Yes, I will.
Oh, Lord, out.
Maybe we could dispense with a demonstration, but nonetheless, it was a very effective hold for sure.
Oh, God, thank you very much. Oh, that's like hitting yourself in the foot with a hammer. Feels so much better when you stop.
Lloyd, we'd like to thank you very, very much for joining us.
Well, it was my pleasure, buddy. It really was.
We appreciate these tidbits from the past.
Why, certainly, and I can tell you a whole lot of stories one of these days.
Well, I'm sure we would welcome them all. We thank very much. Alfred, you've done it again.
Lord, I thank you so much.
Thank you, Lloyd.
Awful
Thank
nice
you.
being here, really.
We'll be back with some more action here on TNT. Our next guest, David Bruno Sammartino. Stay with us. More action to come on TNT. We're back with more TNT. There is no doubt that of all the individuals who have accolades, approached their credentials in terms of professional wrestling, there's one that stands out certainly way above everyone else. He is known as a living legend in professional wrestling. His name, of course, is Bruno Sammartino. Well, it is now our pleasure to introduce to you the son of Bruno Sammartino, young David Bruno Sammartino. David, how are you? Good to see you. Lord Alfred Hayes.
How are you?
Have a seat if you would, David. My goodness. 250 something? You have to be.
248 pounds this morning.
248. My goodness. Really put together in so many ways reminiscent of the skills of your dad, and you are really on a tear in the World Wrestling Federation. I know the competition has not exactly been easy thus far, has it?
Well, it certainly hasn't. You know, that's one of the reasons why Dad kept me away like he did. You know, I've been on the road and traveling throughout different parts of the country now for 5 years, and he realized that I needed this kind of experience, you know, to face, you know, the competitors that you have here. I mean, this is, as far as I'm concerned, this is the Super Bowl of wrestling, because you have the toughest, the biggest, and the best wrestlers you'll find anywhere in the country.
Well, interestingly enough, so I'm told, your dad attempted to keep you out of professional wrestling for some time, did he not?
Yes, he did. You know, ever since I was a little boy, and it wasn't just because that my father was a wrestler. I respected my father. I admired him. He was an idol to me. And ever since I was 5 years old, he took me to my first wrestling match. And I knew then and there that that's what I wanted to do, was to be a wrestler. And throughout high school, throughout grade school, I wrestled, and I competed in weightlifting to gain the size to be a wrestler, because I always had that in my head, was someday to be a wrestler. But he never wanted that. He wanted, because he knew what a hard life it is for a wrestler.
Well, Bruno had his neck broken. I guess just about every bone in his body at one time broken. Surely he wouldn't want that for his son.
And, you know, being away from your family's hard too. You know, because I never really got to know my father till I was maybe, honest to God, until I was 10 or 11 years old. He was always on the road. You know, it was hard.
I'm sure, and it continues to be hard, I would think, attempting to follow in those footsteps. Notwithstanding your individual effort. I mean, it seems to me that the name San Martino is, it's difficult to live up to the name of San Martino, isn't it, in some respects?
Well, you know, ever since I started wrestling, I've had people come up to me and ask me, is it tough trying to live up to the name San Martino?
It's almost a burden, isn't it, to a certain extent, a burden to bear?
Well, you know, a lot of people might think that, but I don't look at it that way, Mr. McMahon. I look at it as an honor, being compared to who I consider the greatest that this sport has ever seen. I mean, that's like, for instance, being compared to a man like Rocky Marciano or Joe Louis or Lou Gehrig or, you know, somebody like that. So I look at that as an honor, you know. I don't look at that as a burden whatsoever.
All right, well, let's take a look at David San Martino in action. We'll pick up the match in progress. David San Martino in action. Let's go to the videotape.
David's quicker than I thought he was, in fact.
Yes, he is.
That was very nice, quick moves.
David San Martino putting pressure. David San Martino in control of Mr. Fuji for how long remains to be seen. Handful of hair sends the youngster into the ropes, but what a shoulder block as he came off. And right back to that arm drag. Let's take a look. Let's go back in time here. We can for a moment and take a look at that beautiful maneuver here by David San Martino. Look as he comes up this ropes. Wow, what a shot. Fuji went down like yesterday's newspaper. Back to live action as David hanging onto that arm ringer.
I think he moved Fuji about 3 or 4 feet there from where he was actually standing.
Absolutely, drove him right. Well, he doesn't have any shoes. I was going to say drove him out of his shoes. But,
out of his toenails, maybe. One wonders, looking at Fuji, what he could achieve if he can impart this knowledge of martial arts to a young wrestler. Say, for example, well, we know what he's doing with Morocco, of course, but if he could impart all the knowledge he has to one young wrestler today, maybe Brutus Beefcake or somebody like that, although he's going to be with luscious Johnny Valiant, what he could actually achieve.
Stardom for someone and a title for sure. Well, Morocco, in my opinion, is one of the greatest wrestlers of all time. Former Intercontinental Champion and destined to wear gold for as long as he wants.
Yes, yes.
San Martino on the receiving end as he went hard into the turnbuckle. Fuji in control.
Fuji's moving better than I've seen him moving for a long time, too. His reactions are sharp. His attack is well directed. His psychology is good. He's making young David Sammartino suffer, and he said that's what he would do.
Absolutely. Vicious chop just dropped him. Scoops a leg to get a little momentum going, slow down the Oriental monster if you can. Oh, look at that double karate shot right to the throat. That's automatic disqualification in my book.
Well, I think that was actually to the sides of the neck there. The referee was right on top. It's on top of that piece of action, so I would imagine that's where those shots went to. Fuji is not stupid enough to do something right in front of a referee.
Sammartino reeling in pain. And Fuji loving it, dishing it out.
Oh, doesn't he ever? Doesn't he love that?
Had a hold of his ear there, tried to dismember this youngster. Now into the claw hole, telling the referee to mind his own business. Well, that is the referee's business, Fuji, what you're doing in there. Tell a guy to mind his own business.
Well, that's true.
Got that claw hole right down in the lower abdominal area.
It's a wonder to me that Sammartino can take this amount of punishment, because the way that Fuji punishes a person is not obviously, or it's not apparent, I should say, because a lot of it causes internal pain and suffering.
Yes, obviously.
And he is a master of martial arts.
Look at him, says stalking.
Ooh.
Chops right to the kidney area.
He really enjoys his work.
Sammartino reeling in pain as Mr. Fuji so far delivering on his promise to inflict pain and suffering on this youngster.
It says a lot for David that he can actually take it, though. And now look at him, he's saying, come on.
Got a lot of guts.
He has indeed. I don't think I'd ever say that to Fuji. Come on, he's saying. Come on, what more can he take? Well, he can take that for a start. And if there's a lot more, Fuji's got it. There's a lot more.
Absolutely, he's got plenty in his arsenal.
Yeah.
Sammartino keeps taking blow after blow, but keeps coming right back for more. Right hand, not too much behind it. That one did. Whoa, big uppercut. Fuji goes down face first. Sammartino gets a chance for a breather here to get some oxygen back inside that body.
Only a youngster could do this, Gino. I questioned his tactics in the beginning, but it seems they've been successful for him.
Big uppercut once more. Maybe that was part of his strategy, to let this guy beat on me till he runs out of gas. Big boot right to the midsection, as down he goes.
No,
Sammartino setting him up for something. Oh, knee drop right to the throat area. Down for the cover. Won't get him.
Only one.
Fuji now for the ride. Went for a backdrop. Was it there? Fuji, the big leg drop. No! Sammartino rolling out of the way. Fuji caught in a small package. He's going to get him. Mr. Fuji caught in a small package as David Bruno Sammartino on the victory here in his debut, and wasn't it exciting? Let's go up and get the official word.
Ladies and gentlemen, the winner of the match, David Sammartino.
Tremendous victory, and as you can see, a gentleman has joined us again, Captain Louis Albano. Mr. Albano, I'm sure you were quite impressed with the victory of David, were you not?
Well, you've got to be impressed. I looked at David Sammartino, David Bruno Sammartino, and he looks just like Bruno Sammartino some years back. I mean, he's a very well put together fella. He's got terrific biceps and triceps. You can notice the latissimus dorsi, the pecs on the man. I know he's a power lifter, and he can bench press well over 500 pounds. And as I said, I knew Bruno Sammartino, and I know Bruno Sammartino Sr. well. The man was a legend in his own time. He's still a living legend. He was a world champion for 15 years. We know his capabilities. We know what he's able to do. And as I said, I don't particularly like the man, but you've got to respect. Let's call a spade a spade. When a man's got it all together, you've got to respect. Now, this young fella is in the category of his dad. He's come a long way. I noticed in that ring, I know a lot about professional wrestling, being the manager of some 14 tag team champions, 2 intercontinental champions, and a single Worldwide Wrestling Federation heavyweight champion. So you know that my word is my bond, and you know I know wrestling. And watching David Bruno San Martino in that ring, I noticed that he has wrestling knowledge, wrestling balance, wrestling leverage, which is so vital to professional wrestling.
And let me ask you this.
Go right ahead, McMahon.
What sort of advice, then, would you give David San Martino?
Well, the advice, I'd not like to advise him on his wrestling attributes, because wrestling, I have a series of trainers that train my men. So I will not give advice on the wrestling technique. I believe he has the balance, he has the leverage, he has the intestinal fortitude. Looking into his eyes, I can see he's a man of great guts and ability. But I'd like to advise him on his food plan, on his diet, on his, I'd like to advise him to keep the carbohydrate content down. Keep your intake, what are you laughing at?
I'm sorry.
Just keep your mouth shut, you're not paid to laugh. Keep the protein income high. In other words, try to keep, are you listening, son? Pay attention, I'm talking to you, not the floor. Try to keep it about 20 grams of protein a day. This means plenty of liver, plenty of chicken, plenty of steak, plenty of unborn virgin goat's milk if you get to once a day.
What else would you advise David to do in his wrestling?
I would advise David to watch wrestling, watch matches, sitting there as an outsider. Any opportunity you have, son, and I can call you son because you're a young punk, sit out there and watch wrestling. Watch every man. You can pick up faults. You can pick up weaknesses. You can spot you. Yes, you're good. Yes, you're a comer. Yes, I can see your potential. And yes, your old man was a great wrestler. But so what? It's your day now. Get out there and watch. Watch your training. Keep on the ball. Do it the right way.
If you don't have any other advice, then we'll be back later.
Well, I've got one more word of advice. Son, why don't you change that name, San Martino? Change your last name.
We'll be back with more TNT as we continue. Stay with us. Lots more action to come. Jack Mulligan's Continental Cowboys, and they are something indeed, as is our next guest, ladies and gentlemen, one and the only Black Jack Mulligan. All right. Big Jack, how are you? Lord Alfred Hayes?
Yes, sir.
My goodness.
That isn't apple pie and ice cream. What can you do?
Well, I didn't know you had all these talents now coming out. I guess there is a great deal of talent out of the great state of Texas, isn't there?
Well, I tell you what, Vince, it certainly is. And the Continental Cowboys, I want to thank them very much for coming all the way down here. And the point I want to make with the Continental Cowboys and some special dancers I got here today is some of the people that have been treading on the stars and stripes and the good old USA and the good old America. Right here is what it's all about, brother. And when you get down to country, that's basic.
Well, I'll tell you what's basic as well, and that is competition in the World Wrestling Federation. And there's not going to be any short supply on competition when it comes to meeting individuals to grapple with you.
Well, there's no question about it. I know the Iron Sheik, he sticks right in my mind right this present time that he's against everything that the United States and America stands for, freedom, and he's running his mouth off, and we'll never forget the hostages that they held over there, Lord, for sure. I mean, I haven't forgotten. Down in West Texas, we're kind of just basic country folks down there, and we remember things like that. You know, we're just bread and butter and gravy and beans and stuff like that. But when you look at people like John Studd, the size of this man and what he stands for, he just stands for trouble, Vince, anytime you get in the ring with him. And I've met the man on many, many occasions, and he's an awesome human being.
He is awesome. Well, you're not exactly, well, certainly in that category, and certainly not exactly small. About what, 6'? What are you?
Well, about 6'7", Vince, about 310 pounds. But you take a man like Studd, he's just a plain mean individual, and he'll try to injure you every time you go in the ring. And with people like this, you've got to keep your eyes open. The Moondogs, and it goes on and on down the list. The WWF has, without a doubt, the greatest lineup, the greatest array of wrestlers I've ever seen in my life. Paul Orndorff, especially, what a great athlete, a former football player.
Nikolai Volkov.
The Russian. Now, there's another one.
There's another big hombre.
He is, without a doubt, a very awesome individual that utilizes his power more than anything else, more than finesse, and you have to be very careful of Volkov at all times. I must admit that.
Well, I'll tell you, we're going to look forward to following you in matches upcoming in the World Wrestling Federation. As a matter of fact, very shortly we're going to take you back to some videotape footage of Blackjack Mulligan in action. And I would guess maybe the biggest asset you have going for you is, generally speaking, your size and everything else that comes along with it.
Well, thank you very much, Vince. I got the good Lord and my mom and daddy to thank for that, and that good old Texas food I've been getting.
All right, let's go now to the videotape and watch Blackjack Mulligan in action. Here we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, this match, one fall with a 10-minute time limit. Introducing first, from Morgan's Corner, Arkansas, weighing 285 pounds, Ted Grizzly. His opponent, from Texas, weighing 310 pounds, Blackjack Mulligan.
Oh, listen to the tremendous throng in attendance this week on the World Wrestling Federation. Hi again, everybody. This is Jack Reynolds at ringside along with Angelo Mosca. And Angelo, Blackjack Mulligan. Boy, what can you say about a legendary man like Big Blackjack?
He's got quite a career behind him, an ex-football player, a great wrestler, great shape, and they talk about John Studd. Well, John Studd better beware, because Blackjack Mulligan, look at that power.
Wow. Mulligan tipping the scales at a little over 300 pounds for this bout.
How tall would he be? About 6'9"?
Oh, he's close to, he's about 6'9", 6'10". Big man in that ring. But for a big man, he moves well. Shoulder block in there by...
He went back to his New York Jet days and threw that tackle.
That's it. Blackjack Mulligan. You know, I don't care where you've been, Angelo. Whenever you talk about some of the great stars in the world of professional wrestling, the name of Blackjack Mulligan will always come up.
Always surfaces somewhere, somehow. Look at the size of that Blackjack's hand. Look at that hand. That's got to be about an 18 glove.
You know, Ted Grizzly is no lightweight, but compared to Blackjack Mulligan,
he's just a nice big old cowboy from Texas.
Mulligan right now taking command of this bout against Ted Grizzly.
Grizzly's a little disorientated right now.
Your referee for this bout, by the way, is Wayne Cashman. He's looking at the proceedings going on. Into the turnbuckle, Ted Grizzly.
You know, Jack, I hope John Studd is somewhere in his living room watching this match of Blackjack Mulligan. He talks about being the giant. There's a giant of a man in that ring right now. Oh, look at that wrestling skill. A drop toe hold, I don't believe it.
Good move in there by Blackjack Mulligan. Grizzly able to reach the ring ropes.
We need to wrap those 40-inch legs around that leg of Grizzly's.
Grizzly now starting to pound away.
Got his dander up.
Look out, Grizzly. You don't want to do that. He took a tremendous shot. Grizzly is hurt. He's stunned, Angelo.
I think he is. He doesn't even know where he's at.
Look at that tremendous shoulder block.
The lights are out.
Turn out the lights.
The party's over.
That's it.
Look at that. Fills up that TV screen, too.
Oh, the fans love it. Wait a minute. Wait a minute. The fans. All right, let's go up to the ring right now and get the official decision.
The winner of the match, Blackjack Mulligan.
Blackjack Mulligan. Let's pick it up. Let's pick it up right now.
Watch this. Look at that.
Boy, he caught him.
He knocked his lights out.
Caught him just below the jaw. There's the 3 count by your referee, Wayne Cashman. And that's all she wrote, Angelo.
You know, match after match.
Blackjack Mulligan is back.
Yes, indeed. Big Blackjack is back, and bigger, I believe, and certainly better than we've ever seen before. And Blackjack, as we said before, you're going to have your competition cut out for you. You're going to be lined up one after another because of victory over Blackjack, and you're right up there at the top.
Well, thank you very much, Vince. And I just want to express this to all the people in the United States as I see them across the nation now. You know, now I'm going to be wrestling a lot of guys that I've been in the ring and been partners with, and everybody's lining up just to find out how tough Jack really is. Because, you know, I haven't changed my attitude or anything like that. I just want the people to understand that I'm trying to do the best thing I possibly can. Because when I go against somebody like John Studd or the Iron Sheik or Roddy Piper, I might add, or somebody like that, you know, they're very tough individuals, Paul Orndorff, and you can't ever forget about the Captain Lou Albano, because he's always standing there and he's always a problem and he can always be very dangerous. And now with the addition of Bobby Heenan, he is definitely a problem too, and the Valiant, so I've got to keep my eyes open. I've spent a lot of time on the road with Heenan's, a lot of time in the ring, so now we're going to get to see some different things when we're going against those people. So that could be, you know, something.
Could very well be a very explosive element for sure.
Yeah, that's exactly right, Vince. And I must say this, that I look forward to wrestling Studd, and anytime it comes to the arena, I don't think it'll be really much of a wrestling match. It could possibly be an all-out brawl.
Seems to me, Jack, if I interrupt you, that a lot of times we've seen you when someone gets under your skin, so to speak, you kind of, your face, everything kind of messes all up. You kind of get what they call a tick or something like that, isn't it?
Yeah, that's just that old West Texas water, and there it is right there. And, you know, what I want to talk more think about right now is the Continental Cowboys.
All right.
I got some dancers. I got some square dancers here tonight. I'd like for you to hit it. So, Bernie the Boys, how about some O.J. Clark over there, boys?
All right, let's strike it up. TNT, and no doubt we'll be back with more Blackjack Mulligan's everything. We'll be back. All right, we're back. Thank you, gents. Back here with Blackjack Mulligan, and what is this monstrosity in front of us?
Well, Vince and Lord, this is the notorious Reverend Mr. Black. And without a doubt, he's one of the most dangerous critters on the prairie there, but I don't want to talk about him right now, Vince.
Well, one thing I'd like to talk about, if I may, notwithstanding the Reverend Mr. Black, I'd like to talk about an incident that happened recently on the World Wrestling Federation Network involving you and Roddy Piper.
Right. Well, Vince, it's always been my contention and all the good people out there watching that they deserve the best and they deserve to hear answers that they would like to ask. And I'm asking all the people to write in cards and letters that some of the wrestlers they would want to ask of them. And sometimes you ask a guy and you can't get a straight answer for him. So what I'm trying to do with Blackjack's Barbecue is get some straight answers, as we're going to see from the videotape shortly following. I'm trying to get Piper off and let me get in there so I can talk to some of the guys, Lord, if we understand what we're talking about.
Well, Piper has been accused, I must say, on an occasion of being quite biased.
Well, Vince, it's always, when you're talking to Piper, it's always yakety yak yak. It's always Roddy Piper, and that's all you ever hear. You try to go on his pit and have a decent conversation with a man, which is impossible if you take a look at his IQ rating, and it's impossible to even discuss anything normally or intelligent with Roddy Piper. So what I'm going to try to do on Blackjack's Barbecue, and what they're going to see as a result of that, is I want to have some people on there and try to find out exactly what they're all about, what's in their minds, going to the dressing rooms and find out a little bit about them and what they're thinking. And I need some help from the people. And if all the people out there have got some questions they want to ask them, by golly, now's the time to do it. Because we're going to find out what's going to happen.
All right, let's take you back now by way of videotape. And Blackjack Mulligan was a guest on Piper's Pit. It turned out a little different than that, but nonetheless, let's go now to the videotape footage.
People, I know you're a tremendous wrestler. You are one of the people that I have never, ever wanted to wrestle. Reason being, I have nothing to gain because of your...
Why don't you give somebody a chance, man? Why don't you? Why you always putting on somebody? Why don't you give this man a chance? Give him a chance, man. Why don't you give him a chance?
Oh, what do we have here? Tex Ritter, my goodness. You have some... If you think for 1 second that you're going to come here and prove something on my show, on my pit, if you think that I'm going to be intimidated by your size, you're full of baloney like every other Texan I ever met, mister.
Now let me tell you something, you wall-eared polecat. We know this is your show. We know all this horse manure and this dribble that you tried to feed all these good people out here.
Wait. I ain't never lied about nothing. If you can't accept the truth, if they can't accept the truth, that's their problem. It's my show, and I tell it just the way I want to, mister.
I want to tell you something, Piper. What we need around here is another side of the story of facts. When a man comes out here to be interviewed properly, and not that pack of lies that you've been...
I interview him properly. The only thing is, there ain't nobody around that's got the intelligence I do, so that's why I'm the only person out here. What you need to do is just hook him along, brother.
You know something, Piper, that myself and hundreds of people have told me as I cross this nation, is I am proud of my Scottish-Irish heredity, but I've got to say this right now. I can do the job better than you.
The casting was done with a die, so to speak, that we're going to see a lot more of Blackjack's Barbecue.
Well, it's going to be the other side of the story, Vince, but really what I'd want to get down to right now is Reverend Mr. Black, and I want to tell everybody, some of the kids out there watching right now, and you've seen these things all around the country, and there's been a lot of people injured on these things. Out in West Texas, we use these things for training devices, and the top bull riders in the world today, this is what they train on right now, rather than use up the stock and injure the stock. So it's very dangerous. And Lord, I'll tell you what, would you like to give her a try, Lord?
Oh, that would be spectacular. Lord Alfred Hayes on the bull? Huh? Lord, what do you think, eh?
Well, we have bulls in England, but they're pit bulls. Not at all like that. Let me tell you, though, something. I do have a great uncle who has something remotely resembling this, but it's an instrument of torture that he keeps in the dungeons of his medieval castle.
Yeah. Well, now, Jack, you or yourself jump all over this thing. You yourself use this to train when you're not wrestling.
Right. Well, it's a thing of coordination and skill, and it's something, Vince, that you have to be very, very careful with. And at a very low speed, it's very dangerous. But at full speed, you're getting the G-force pull of like a 2,500-pound bull coming out of the chute, and I'll guarantee you, it's very dangerous. Vince, would you like to try it one time and see what it feels like? We'll put it on very slow for you.
No, I don't think that.
I'd like to see that very much, yes.
You would like to see that?
Yeah, try it. Come on, Vince, hop up here. Here, Lord. Look at Vince, hop up here one time. Just hop up here and I'll get you a deep seat, Vince. Be very careful here. Now, we'll put it on a slow speed. Here. Yeah, put it on a real slow speed. All right.
Does this have extra slow?
Yeah, we'll put it on extra slow, Vince. Just watch the spin now. All right.
Give him a lift. Give him a lift there, Jack.
Saddle right up there. Get right over.
How do you? All right.
Get it deep. Get a real deep. Yeah, hit some good old bull riding music over there. And by the way, I just cinch your legs up in there, cinch in real tight. Are you ready now, Vince?
No, I don't think so.
You're not ready?
Are you really serious about this?
All right, wait a minute now. Let's get the whole thing here. Put this down over here, and we get ready to go. All right, hit it. Are we ready to go there? All right, real slow now. Hit it real slow. Yeah. Yeah, real slow now. There we go. All right. Hang on there, Vince. Yeah. Just keep.
I'd like to see some bucking on this.
No, Lord, we better keep it on slow right now. Yeah. It's very, 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 very dangerous. It's not giving a full buck here because Vince is not ready for it. We don't want him to get injured right now at this point. Here we go. We're getting a little buck to it. There we go.
Wow!
Hang on, Vince.
Oh! Wow, hang on!
Lord, I want to save the kids at home. Don't try this.
Oh my gosh!
Places. This is very, very dangerous, and there's been a lot of people injured on these things. Hang on, Vince.
Ow!
Right.
Be careful!
Hang on, Vince.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah, that's all right.
Hey!
Well
done. Absolutely well done.
That's a mean sucker. Well, I'll tell you what, Lord, this thing, how you feel, Vince?
I don't know.
I think the hat helped you.
Something helped me, I'm sure. Well, you can take that one back going home and
it's
put it back
you don't want to do every day, Vince. You have to be very, very careful with this. Now, again, I want to warn the kids. It's dangerous.
Well, let's leave here and let's go back to some of Black Jack's music. Let's get it on, boys. Crank her up, huh? Yes, it's that time again, and with us is Captain Louis Albano, who will attempt to give us some advice to some of the questions written into TNT, some of the more unusual questions, I might add, from some of the letters and whatever we receive weekly here on TNT. And the first letter, Mr. Albano. Dear TNT, my husband is from the old world, whatever that means. My husband refuses to use modern hygiene techniques such as deodorant. As a result of that, there seems to be a permanent odor that surrounds my husband, which I find offensive. What's your advice?
Well, you can't mark them all bad, sweetheart, for not using deodorant because some people are highly allergic to deodorant. Now, what I would advise you to do, if you can get some rubbing alcohol and in that, put a few drops of olive oil. And then to that, add a little bit of that, do you ever hear witch hazel? A little bit of witch hazel. And take a little bit of shaving lotion and mix that 4 parts. Shake it up and have him rub that on his body. Now, it doesn't have to, in other words, you don't have to have it under the arms. There may be a slight odor coming from under the arms. Let him cut the hair, trim the hair short, and you rub that on, and that'll do the job. You don't have to have that spray deodorant stuff, that aerosol that may pollute.
Well, Mr. Albano, you seem, how do you know I mean, you seem to have had some experience.
I myself use...
Are you allergic to deodorant?
Well, I occasionally use a little bit of deodorant, but I don't need deodorant. I can use, see, I don't smell, number one. Because I shower 3-4 times daily, so I don't have to worry about
next question, if you don't mind.
Go right ahead.
My husband is fat.
Now, see that?
As a matter of fact, many feel my husband is obese.
Wow, something I can't stand for.
I'm told that there's a guide out that's called the Fat Person's Guide to Ecstasy. Do you know about such a guide, Mr. Albano?
Well, first of all, I don't really appreciate fat people, so let me tell your husband this. He better get on the ball and try to get that weight down because you don't want to damage the the pulmonary artery or so forth. And my best advice would be
Excuse me, but before you refer to... How would you categorize yourself?
I don't call that fat. That's only muscle. I mean, you don't realize the muscle toning in that. So let's not. It's merely an optical illusion.
Well, are you aware of the Fat Person's Guide to Ecstasy?
Yes, I've heard about the Fat Person's Guide. And
who wrote that?
It was wrote by Rodney Eastgaven and Dr. Popufnik in California, a very eminent psychologist and gynecologist. He wrote this
sort of advice?
For women and men, and the advice he gives is to follow a low-carbohydrate diet. In other words, try to keep under 20 grams of carbohydrate a day. Well, basically. Go ahead, McMahon.
I think the guide, if in fact this lady, she's not asking for nutritional advice here. She's asking for a guide, I would assume, with the fat people to enjoy themselves a little bit more.
Well, you can enjoy yourself. I mean, you can look at yourself as a great person. In other words, fat is not all bad, you know? In other words, there's some fat people out there, I know a few, that are still not bad people. I mean, of course, I don't like fat, but there are fat people that are okay. So, you know, all them fat mamas out there, they love me, you know. Don't feel bad, I'm not making fun of you. Now, look at yourself, get in the mirror, strip down, look into the mirror and say, hey, I feel great. I used to do that when I was fat. But now, let me tell you, also, you've got to know, you've got to get on a nutritional deal. You can eat all you want, anything you want, but
Mr.
only
Albano?
swallow half. Remember that.
Okay, thank you. Great advice. My husband
Keep a little bag with you now.
wears cowboy boots all the time. He never takes them off, and it is quite difficult to live with him. Do you have any advice?
Well, number one, sweetheart, you need a deodorant. I know about those cowboy boots. I used to wear them. You take them off, that would knock a skunk out, I'll tell you that. Number two, your husband must be a heavyweight when it comes to athlete's feet. In fact, he's going to give all them aerosol companies a lot of business. MP27, Strasbourg,
He never
Lee Watson.
takes them
off. Well, then he's got to try to get through the shoes, either that, or fill the bathtub with alcohol and walk into the boots over the boot level and let it soak. It's the only thing I can say. Your husband's bad shape, madam. When it comes to boots that have
Mr.
never
Albano?
taken off, I'd hate to be around. The day comes when they put them in the box and they take the boots off.
All right, Mr.
Boy,
Albano,
is
we
he in for
thank you
surprise.
very much for the advice to the lovelorn.
This is right up my alley.
We'll be
man. I'd
back,
love to be
yes.
there.
Back with more Tuesday Night Titans. In a moment, we'll take you to a very special individual indeed. Take a look at some of his outstanding physical feats in professional wrestling. He's known, well, actually, he calls himself Mr. Wonderful, in reference, of course, to Paul Orndorff. But nonetheless, Lord Alfred Hayes, is nothing short of an extraordinary athlete.
He is very aptly named, really, Mr. Wonderful, because his record is a wonderful record. He has proved himself against the best there is in wrestling, and why people call him Paula is beyond me, only that they want to provoke him. And when he's provoked, he becomes even better.
Many times he does, but on occasion, if he's provoked, he seems to lose it entirely.
Yes, he has done that too. Lost his head completely.
And when that happens, normally it's an asset to his
Lost
competitor.
the match as well.
That's right.
Yes.
All right, let's take you now to some of the matches, some of the highlights in the career of Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. We'll be seeing more of him, but right now let's take you to the videotape of Paul Orndorff.
McGraw able to make a move moments ago, now back to his feet. And McGraw strikes the midsection. And again with the elbow. And a third time. McGraw rakes the face. McGraw asserting himself on Paul. Drop kick by McGraw. sunset. Will they get him down? One, we get two, we get. Whoa, my. McGraw, flying head scissor. No, no, look at that. That's just how clever Paul Orndorff is. Moments ago, almost pinned. And a sunset flipping from there. The flying head scissor turned him to a rope across the throat. Neck breaker. Moments ago was applied by Mr. Wonderful. Orndorff likes very much to dish out punishment to the neck. And here comes more. The pile driver down to the canvas. McGraw, at one time in his career, suffered a broken neck. This is not going to assist him at all. Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff, strutting about the ring, as we've stated before, arrogance personified.
I'm speaking. Not the weasel, you manage your man. Must you tell the people here to show us a little respect and show us a little class.
What a tremendous assault by Paul Mr. Wonderful Orndorff on young Bob Wayne out of Portland, Oregon.
Oh. You know, Jack, I can feel every one of those blows right down here.
Look at that. Tremendous elbow smash to the throat area.
Well, he's under the tutelage of Bobby the Brain Heenan. Anything's liable to happen. Oh.
Another tremendous shot into the throat area.
You know, Jack, in all the due respect of what he's doing here, he's also a great athlete. But the crowd has just got him riled up because of Paula.
Orndorff pulverizing his opponent, young Bob Wayne. Look at it. Look at Orndorff hollering at referee Roger Francoeur. Here comes the pile driver.
Oh, this should be outlawed. This.
Oh, what a tremendous move.
I don't know how he's. Oh.
Paul Orndorff, look at that. He loves it. He loves it. There's the 3 count.
Look at Mr. Wonderful, Paul Orndorff. When we return, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to have another look at Black Jack Mulligan, and I'm told Black Jack is going to have with us some more of his hoedown type thing. It's been so far, it's been a lot of fun.
I've really enjoyed Black Jack Mulligan, and I'm sure I'm going to enjoy a lot more of him too.
We'll be back, ladies and gentlemen, with Captain Louis Albano, likely to be hanging around, along with Barry Windham, Mike Rotundo, and Big Black Jack Mulligan, and a host more. We'll be right back with more TNT. Well, Big Black Jack, we'd like to thank you for coming all the way up here from Texas and bringing all these fine folks with you.
Well, hold it, Vince. Wait a minute. This hoedown is not over yet. Let's get some of those dollies out there. Warren, grab all that mic over there. Let's get us a dolly and do-see-do.
Come on, girls. Come on in here and grab a partner for the Texas Star now. Swing them now. Swing your partner. Swing the high, swing your low, swing your good. Promenade one and promenade now. Promenade. Round circle. Promenade. Now what you want? Join hands now. One big circle and circle to the left. Circle left now. Circle left. Circle left. Now the other way, back the other way. You went the wrong way. Steady. Everybody steady. Lays the center and back to the bar. Clap your hands. Man, your turn. Right hand star. Right hand star. Right hand. Walk around now. Left hand back. Left.
This week's TNT was brought to you in part by Levi's Action Slacks and Levi's Action Jeans.
Left hand in the center now. Promenade. Now ladies swing in. Ladies swing star. Ladies star. Just out. Now ladies swing out. Just back in. Just back and take the star again. Just. Now swing up. Swing low. Swing back down. Down the groove. Swing up. Now promenade. 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 Around the circle. Now join hands. One big circle. Circle left. One big circle. Circle left now. The other way, back the other way. You went the wrong way. The other way. Now steady. Lays in the center and back to the bar. Into the center now, ladies. Now, gents, try to get a right hand in there. Right hand right hand star. Walk around now. Right hand. Got a left hand back, but not too far.